Good morning. Been a while since I've been on the channel. Been kind of busy around the house doing some remodels, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to get out and do any hiking. But here we are at the end of March of 2022, and it's just about spring wildflower season upon us. And I come up here to one of my local places I like to come to find wildflowers, and that would be the Frozen Head State Park. So come up here this morning and thought it would be empty, but I was wrong. They're having a fishing tournament up here for kids today. So there's some other people up here. We're gonna get on up the trail and see what we can find. Well, we started up the trail here out of the parking lot. You drive all the way to the end of the paved road to a parking lot, and then the trails start. So we're heading up towards the Panther Ranch trail and one of the waterfalls we're going to stop by. And we're already seeing quite a few trilliums out and a bunch of other wildflowers, so we're real excited and real hopeful we find some good stuff today. The sun's out, not really ideal, but we can work with that. Well, so far we've seen a lot of wildflowers. A lot of them haven't bloomed yet. We're a little bit early for that. So we're down here at Dboard Falls in Frozen Head State Park. And there it is behind me. Unfortunately, the sun is out today. Makes it for poor shooting conditions for a waterfall. I did get one shot in before the sun hit it. Lynn's back over here doing some photography. Just coming back across. So Lynn Alexander came with me today. Her husband was going to join us, but he hurt his wrist and didn't think it was a chance for us to hike down here today. So we're going to go on up the trail a little bit further. There's another waterfall up there that we're going to try to get to. And we're still looking for the wildflowers. So stay tuned.
Dboard Falls is one of two waterfalls in Frozen Head. It's about 15 or 20 feet tall. So on this particular day, the sun was shining and the shooting conditions were pretty challenging. Using the 14 to 30 Z lens, the camera settings were 0.4 seconds, f11 at ISO 100.
Well, we made our way up the trail to the second waterfall. This one here is called Emery Gap, and it's really harsh lighting today, so it's going to be real tough to get a photograph here. I've only used the 70 to 200 2.8 at one waterfall. That was the previous one. I really like the way that lens renders. It's very sharp. The picture I took was a wildflower, and I have the 2x teleconverter for the Z mount on it, and it's very sharp with that also. This is a very excellent, very versatile range without the teleconverter, or 70 to 200 2.8, and you put the 2x teleconverter on there and you go from 140 to 400 5.6. So to me that's a very complementary range and a very respectable f-stop to be shooting with. I haven't tried it in any low light situations yet, but I will one day here. So when we get done, we're going to walk back down the trail and try to find a few more waterfalls and some wildflowers. It's a little bit early for the wildflowers. They're just now starting to come out of the ground. So it'll be probably another week or so at Frozen Head before they really start looking good. We've got a few more stops to make today. This is our first stop. We thought we'd come here first, beat the crowds, but that isn't the case. There's a lot of people up here today in some kind of fishing tournament. A trout fishing tournament for kids. But we made our way up the trail, got out of the parking lot, and got away from a lot of other people, so it's not been a bad day on the trail, except for the sunlight, which is not making this any better. Oh well, sometimes you're the hammer, and sometimes you're the nail.
So this is a photograph of Emery Gap Falls. It was not taken on this day because of the harsh lighting. but I wanted you to see what the falls could look like. This photograph was taken on April the 3rd of 2020 using the Nikon D500 with a Sigma 10-20 lens set at 11 millimeters. This was a 3-second exposure at f11. A really beautiful waterfall to visit.
Well, we stopped at our second place today, and we're over here at the Nemo Access of the Emory River, just outside of Wartburg, Tennessee. We just spent the morning over at Frozen Head State Park looking for the wildflowers and shooting waterfalls in non-ideal conditions. Anyways, we found some wildflowers there, but it's a little bit early. I'd say about another week, and we'll be able to see them. How y'all doing? All right. Some guys camping over there. Anyways, we're gonna go down here and see if we can find the nature trail to this area. Might have to ask for some help. So we just asked these fellas camping over here, and they pointed us in the right direction. We're here at the campground over here at Nemo. We parked over here, had a little lunch, and now we're making our way down to the nature trail. Going to see if we can find some wildflowers here. Well, I've done something that I've never done before. I left my backpack in the car. I just lost 35 pounds just that quick. So I've got my Nikon Z6 II, the 70-200 2.8 converter attached. So we're going to try that today. It gives me a 140 to 400 millimeter focal length. So we found the nature trail, and we're going to head on down there.
So this shot was using the 70-200 with the 2x teleconverter on it. The camera settings were 1/2500th of a second at f8 at an ISO of 2000, and the lens was set at 400 millimeters. The name of this wildflower is rue anemone, meadow ruse, another common name for it. I was focused on the petals of the flower, and you can tell at 400 millimeters with the 2x teleconverter just how sharp this 70-200 2.8 Z lens is. And this was handheld also.
Well, we're back, and we stopped off at Lily Bridge, Elbed Wild and Scenic, to come up here and shoot this waterfall, the Upper Milton Branch Falls. And everybody that's on the channel knows that this is my #1 favorite spot to come, and I really like it up here. So I brought Lynn up here. She's right over there getting set up to do a composition or two. Her and her husband have been here with me once before, but it's been a couple years, so she may have forgot she had been here. So we've already shot one composition here, or she has. I haven't shot anything yet. I'm going to get the 70-200 Z 2.8 out, and just as soon as she gets finished there, I can get my polarizer back from her. And I took the 2x teleconverter off. What I want to do is get some isolated shots with that lens instead of the whole waterfall, and check the performance of it here and see what kind of compositions it brings to me. Okay, just took a few shots with the 70-200 Z lens at this waterfall. It was at 70 millimeters, and wanted to get a little bit of isolation shot at this waterfall. So we'll get home and put it in the computer, see what it looks like. We're going to run down to the lower falls, and we're going to head home in a minute.
Using the 70-200, this shot was taken at a half a second at f11. This is just part of my testing to see how I'm going to incorporate this 70-200 into my landscape photography. This is a shot of the same waterfall a couple years ago On the right hand side of the falls, you can see the isolated area from the previous photograph. This one here was taken using the 14 to 30. From the fall of 2021 in the diminished flow, this is the same shot as I did with the 70 to 200, just using a wider angle lens.
Been a real good day out here. I've been out most of the day. Didn't find too many wildflowers. Found a few. It's a little bit early yet up here. I say another week and a half, start seeing a lot more. It'd probably help if we had a little bit of rain up here on the plateau. The plateau, like most Tennesseans say. I switched over to my bigger backpack today because I wanted to bring that 7200 along, and that other backpack isn't big enough to carry it all. Anyway, sun's starting to go down behind the mountains, and we'll get ready and get out of here.